Hello and welcome everyone back to the Goddamn Crypto video. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we're back with another banger PulseChain video, giving you guys the latest and greatest of crypto news. And ladies and gentlemen, I am just so excited for the short term for PulseChain. Yesterday was a beautiful green day, giving us a little tease of what it's going to be like when the primetime altcoin season starts. We're just waiting at this point on macro conditions, guys. I'm so excited because a lot of things are also lining up with the 5th, or I believe the 6th of July. That's going to be the cutoff period for the 60-day SEC appeal window. So I'm super excited to see what Richard Hart's doing. We've already started seeing him uh, be very active on Twitter. We're going to cover that in a second. And he also started talking about, Spark Finance, which is, fork of Aave, very related to PDAI, and he talks a lot about PDAI, and that I'm going to keep that for another video, which is we going to be a specific PDAI update, but we're going to kind of keep it in general here with PulseChain. A lot of things are great, and also with the whole 2-month time frame. He never does that, but he did, and I've covered that in a few videos ago, and that really lines up with my estimation in early August to be around that first altcoin season wave. And guys, even yesterday when it was, we've seen upwards of like 50% appreciation in a lot of those tokens, including the PRC20s like PWBTC and PDAI. Okay, PDAI was actually really low in the past few days, and all of a sudden, just like that, guys, I'm telling you the power of being a cycle 1 blockchain. Okay, the power of having low liquidity. Right? Look at this. If you go to pulsechain.com and you go to the stats tab, we are at one of the lowest points of liquidity. And this is good because we're at that phase. And Richard knew this. This is why he effectively turned off the PulseX V1 farms. You gotta put yourself in Richard Hart's mind, guys. Okay, a lot of people are saying like, oh, he's not using the sacrifice funds. Guys, I think he's timing it. Yes, he's still human, and yes, he converted that DAI into the Ethereum, 171,000 Ethereum. Not the potentially at the best time. It was basically the local top for Ethereum, but that's absolutely fine because it doesn't really matter if you're delaying your gratification. Right? And if you know that Ethereum is going to be at 10K either way, right? It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when, then we're winning. Guys, we are a leverage of Ethereum's success. A lot of people are saying, oh, third cycle curse. They don't understand. Ethereum's going to be a killer. And PulseChain is going to be an amplified effect of whatever Ethereum does, right? The same way how you have MicroStrategy buying back Bitcoin, right? And then you have obviously Michael Saylor, who owns basically MicroStrategy. It's the same way Richard Hart is the Michael Saylor of PulseChain, right? And then you have PulseChain is the MicroStrategy of Ethereum, right? I'm gonna give credits. I believe I saw someone tweet that on Twitter. I believe it was KR the Ghost. So big shout out to him. He said that, and it really is a great analogy here, guys. We're in great times. Okay, I understand you might be holding some bags and it hasn't gone up, and you might be looking elsewhere and you're saying, okay, yeah, there's green candles there, green candles there. Just remember, those green candles there. If you weren't there from the beginning, you're not early on those opportunities anymore. Those green candles are already happening. Okay, so kind of the same thing with XRP, right? People are a little bit they're late a few cycles. You can't expect a 600x anymore from XRP, right? Let's be real. But with PulseChain, you literally can. And I also want to say a big shout out to the YouTube members who are choosing to support my small channel. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure making these videos, and I will continue to do so. I look forward to making a video every single day. I'm continuously learning, and I love sharing the knowledge with you guys. And to the highlighted comments here from Marcus says, another banger, bro. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. Another comment from Mr. Garrett says, friendship confirmed. Thank you very much, friend. A comment here from KB says, stay on the PDAI path. Yes, sir, I will. So yeah, thank you very much, and we shall continue. And I wanted to talk about this here real quick, looking at the daily, because this kind of goes back to one of the things that Richard Hart talks about, the Metcalfe's law. Go check it out, okay? Where it literally breaks it down to what actually makes a network valuable, right? You might think, oh, meme coins, marketing, right? In a way, it's marketing, yes, and obviously, yeah, the product sells itself really great, use case to decentralization, right? But all that it comes down to, the common denominator is what users And this is why Metcalfe's law is a really great concept to understand. And this is also a really good thing because if you think about PulseChain now in terms of a market cap to volume ratio, we are crushing it versus Solana, versus Ethereum, and a bunch of other chains, majority of them, right? Just in terms of the raw volume per 24 hours, we're crushing chains like XRP. We're crushing chains like I think even Chainlink at this point. But what I wanted to talk about is looking at the daily active wallets. This is a website called apphex.win. You can see the address bar right there. And we've been having only, look at this, 9,000 daily active wallets per day. That is very low. And we've been having that for such a long time. Such a long time. You know, there's times where we had a peak at 38,000, 45,000. That's pretty decent. And in day one, it was 52,000. That's crazy. But let me tell you, with Metcalfe's law, it effectively states that if the user of a network, or sorry, the value of a network is exponentially proportional to the user growth. What I mean by that is basically it's the square of the user growth. So if you have a network, right, it's worth $10, and then the user count went from 100 people to 1,000 people, that's a 10x difference, right? But now you take that 10x number and you square it, and then that will be the new value of the network. So that will be $10 times 10 to the power of 2, which is 100x. And now all of a sudden, that $10 became $1,000. So it's users. All I'm trying to say is users. So this is why it's a really great. It's really great to have centralized exchanges, even though I would really recommend you guys to keep your money there, use them as a service, because you just never know. They can freeze you for plausible reasons, and they can have really bad customer service where you're now you don't even know why you got frozen, and they're gonna ask you to do this, they're gonna ask you to do that. You know what I mean? So please be careful. Uh, but at the same time, yes, KYC, they do lower the barrier for entry for retail investors that potentially don't even care about counterparty risk, right? But us DeFi people, yes, of course we care about that, but we can't expect everyone to be on board with our vision and our reasons why we use PulseChain. So at the end of the day, the really good thing about PulseChain is that we can show people, oh yeah, this is how it is to have a real meme coin that's backed by a community. Unlike the scams and the rugs the celebrity meme coins are, extracting value from their loyal fans from in Solana with pump.fun. And yes, we have pump tires, but there's a lesson there. I understand, pump tires kind of came a little bit late to the party, but it can still be taken advantage of in the next primetime altcoin season. But pump tires is a great example. Why? Because it burns pulse. Okay, unlike pump tires, guys. If you look into it, the devs behind pump tires, they literally extracted or profited like in a legitimate way at the end of the day, right? But they did extract literally close to $1 billion. I think the number is around 800 million. That is sell pressure, and that's in 1 year. 800 million, and they didn't do buybacks. None of that. That's their money. But with pumped up tires, imagine what happens to the percentage, right? Where you're, minting a token, a certain percentage of that transaction fee goes to burning Pulse. It's a win-win for all of the ecosystem. Same thing with why PulseX is amazing. It's better than Uniswap. I'm telling you guys, we have foundation. This Pulse Chain city is being built up. We have roads and highways are being built. I'm so excited for the future. So this is what I'm telling you. Looking at this, right? We look at this 8K daily users. Let's compare it to where is Ethereum today in terms of active addresses per day, or Solana, right? Solana is, it's kind of the unicorn of the cycle. We cannot lie. There's plenty of money to be made there, but at the same time, it's literally a casino. It's literally a casino. So definitely be careful. Definitely be careful. I've reduced my activity in Solana. I still hold a few things. I've talked about it in the Telegram group chat. Again, join it. We talk about multiple things, right? If you have questions, every conversation there is a value add. Even if you're new and if you think like, oh, I don't want to ask this question. It sounds like, what if someone already answered it? What if everyone knows this? Don't worry. There's no such thing as stupid questions. We were all there. I remember in the previous cycle when using what is it called, pancake swap, for the first time, I didn't know the difference between V1 and V2. I was like, what are people saying? Should I use V1, V2? I didn't know to check the liquidity pools, what's actually the differences, etc. Like, we've all been there, trust me. But yeah, looking at this, 24-hour daily active addresses for Solana, 3.42 million users per day active, guys. Unique addresses. Crazy, right? I mean, yeah, it's a long way for us to reach that number or even a portion of that number. But I also wanted to bring the example of Ethereum. Look at this. It's at 500,000, averaging around 400K, 500,000 per day. Because obviously, this is Ethereum at the end of the day. And, the gas prices are really cheap. So, of course, people are more incentivized to make more trades. But honestly, at this point, right, you can ask people, would you rather have Ethereum with the low gas fees but a low price? Or Ethereum at $10,000 but $100 per trade? They're going to choose that. They might tell you, oh yeah, no, we want cheap gas fees. But I'm telling you, what they actually want is a $10,000 Ethereum. Let me tell you, like, people are not gonna complain. It's the land of whales for a reason, guys. Right? So, but basically the point here is that we're at 9,000, or even if you round it up to 10,000. For us to just reach 1/5 of this, right? 1/5 of what Ethereum is doing, which is 100,000. That's a 10K increase in daily user, active wallets. That's 10K. That's 10x difference, right? Going from 10,000 users to 100,000. And remember, Metcalfe's law, 10 to the power of 2. We can expect a 100x in all of PulseChain's, core values. We're talking like Pulse, the native coin, doing a 100x, PulseX doing 100x, INC doing 100x, PHEX doing 100x, if we just increase the user. This is why I'm so excited, because I know we are early. I'm positioning myself not in terms of just investments, but also in terms of being representative of PulseChain, because people will be like, yeah, Khaled was there from the beginning. Literally, my first ever trade, the first time I ever connected to PulseChain was in August of 2023. And I've loved it every single day since. I swear to God, I never doubted the chain. Never doubted the chain. Because when I compare it to every other chain and all of that, guys, we do stuff different. Yes, I understand we're a fork of Ethereum, but you can't fork a community. There's only one Richard Hart, guys. And Hex, what it achieved in the previous bull run, yeah, we're in the right place. Richard Hart is on a mission, a self-made billionaire, guys. He knows something that we don't. And I might not get to that answer, but I want to follow him. With PulseChain, you know what I mean? If he did it once, if he minted millionaires, which I've met some of them in real life, I want to be part of that ride. And we're now in that second cycle. Will it happen again? Will the same hex repeat history and then go back up to that, top 10 coin market cap listing? Very possible. History repeats itself. History rhymes. So remember, we're positioning ourselves. I've delayed my gratification incredibly, right? Where it's better for me to just hold one token, or for example, hold a dozen or whatever, long term, and really believe in them, and then wait for that 500x to happen, versus jumping on a shiny new object and then trying to trade for, if you get 20x here, and then I can buy back my core bags, and okay, I'm gonna delay buying back my core bags, because what if I took this and I put it in another token, and then if that does it 20x, because everyone's gonna tell you, oh, just do a 20x 10 times in a row and you're gonna make a million. Not that easy, bro. Because if you lost once, you're back to square one, and you also lost your main bags, your core bags. This is why, guys, please be careful. Make up a pie chart with different risk managing, manage your different allocations of risk, where you have low risk, high risk, medium risk, absolute gamble, etc. And then obviously keep track of that risk to reward ratio. Okay. And it can be very simple. Just make sure you're looking into projects that you really believe in. It makes it feel easier to hold it during times where it's low prices. Okay? Because let me tell you, majority of the bags that feel terrible to hold, they actually end up being the bags with the biggest gains, potential gains to give you. I promise you. Okay, now this is not financial advice, but I promise you that's my belief. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna move on, guys. A quick accountability check. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that oh yeah, GoPulse has kind of gone MIA. They took the website down, and I was like kind of insinuating as if they're running away, and that's it. Big correction. That's my bad. It turns out that their website it just had a DNS domain name server, I believe the name server, yeah, issue where the address was not routing to their website, and there was a temporary address which is pulseburn.com, and now everything's back absolutely fine. So again, my bad for that. GoPulse is still doing quite well, and I'm really happy with their service. I just hope they just become more transparent. That's all I want to say. And of course, big love to GoPulse. They've been here from the start. And yeah, we shall continue. So moving on, kind of to quickly also want to show you guys this website here, ERC versus PRC, and because I spoke about this yesterday, or sorry, because yesterday was a really great pump in Pulse, where we've seen, as I mentioned, upwards to 50% appreciation in tokens, and you can see here. PDAI has now back to the 0.0028 when I believe it was at 0.0016. In one day, it did that correction, right? And today's up 10%, and you can see now it's at 357x to $1. Again, I will make a separate video about talking specific about PDAI and the latest updates and theories and Richard Hart tweets. Same thing with USDC here. You can see USDC is 600x. Actually, not bad opportunity right there. And then, yeah, PHEX right now, the PHEX EHEX ratio is 3 to 1. That's absolutely fine. Are we going to see a $1 combined EHEX plus PHEX price? It's definitely in the cards for sure. And then, yeah, PWBC, one of my favorite ever tokens, guys. PWBC right now, a 236x to its real Bitcoin price, which is at 107,000. Currently, today is at $453. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I really believe in it because this is one of the unique selling points of PulseChain. Oh, you've never heard someone make 100x from a stable coin. No, yeah, it's only possible in PulseChain. There you go. Like PWBTC is the better Bitcoin, where you can make yield on PulseX farms. Well, they're not live yet, but you can make yield on PulseX farms instead of just holding your WBTC on Ethereum and collecting dust, doing nothing for you, right? It's effectively a better Bitcoin, better solution to that proof of work, which is what? Where number one, you need the 24/7 equipment. Number two, the majority of the profits literally go to the energy companies and the monopolized GPU mining manufacturing industry. You never know. I think I remember Richard Hart live streaming, and he talked about it, and he said, just never know when you make a purchase, they start mining some Bitcoin with it before they send it to you. So, you know what I mean? Anyways, he talked a lot about Bitcoin, and it was constructive criticism. Like Richard Hart, at the end of the day, he actually cares about Ethereum. He cares about Bitcoin. You know what I mean? We're not here trying to replace Bitcoin and replace Ethereum. The way I see it, I like to call Hex as the Bitcoin of DeFi, right? Not the better Bitcoin. And I understand, a lot of people will be going like, oh, Khaled, how come you say this, man? Hex is. I'm just being real. We need Bitcoin to stay number one. I understand it hasn't been updated in decades. It's still a proof of work, yada, yada, yada. It's not feasible to have smart contracts. The opcos are just too small. That's fine, right? But its own use case right now is kind of becoming that store of value. It's no longer well, it's still a really great investment for sure, but it's kind of becoming the digital savings, the better gold, right? The Petroc gold, etc. And plus, at the same time, who knows? Gold, it's not a fixed supply asset anymore. You just never know. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, a meteor comes down, and then you have major supplies. And I think there was even talks about. There's an article that talked about, oh, they can now start creating gold in a laboratory. Even crazier. Like, do you know what I mean? So, and only God knows if there's countries that have gold that's still not in the circulation. And of course, if you add, all of a sudden, you add more supply with equal number of demand, what happens? The price corrects and it goes lower. So, and at the same time, if you look at gold and you compare it to the inflation, it's barely cutting even, guys. Literally, look at it. Gold. No, versus the dollar, like, you know what I mean? Of course you're gonna see, oh yeah, gold is been doing okay the past couple decades, but if you do it versus inflation, it's barely cutting even. So there you have it. Bitcoin does solve something. It might solve just one solution, but it's good enough. It's solving it really well, which is what hedge of inflation, that it deserves to stay as the number one, right? The digital gold, the son of the solar ecosystem of this, crypto industry. And of course, Ethereum is a digital oil, or some people say digital silver, etc. Anyways, PulseChain, I think it perfectly fits in that top three, being the true decentralization, true DeFi, okay, versus that traditional finance. We have true DeFi and a bunch of others. Like we have a better Uniswap, um, and it's effectively like a Ethereum with time turned back. And the whole thing with PDAI, guys. Again, I'm going to talk about it with the whole Genius Act and what PDAI solves, what kind of issues that it solves in today's world. Super exciting stuff, really. But anyways, going to the first tweet I wanted to talk about here from Martin. Right, this is the CFO of Hex. And here he says, if you're following recent Richard Hart tweets closely, you might have a feeling that we are currently in a turning point. The time for shakeouts, legal battles, product testing, and DCAing into core tokens is slowly coming to an end. Effectively, here he's saying the front row seats are now being taken up, guys. Soon enough, there will be no more front row seats. It's just going to be FOMO at that point. FOMO. And then he says, Richard was patient enough to wait for the right time to come. It's his turn now. Haters in disbelief, many more sidelined, competitors in shock. We are soon entering a period of massive marketing campaigns, huge gains, and complete expansion. The ecosystem will grow from a small village to millions of people. Exchanges will start listing core coins, and many lives will be changed for the better. If you're reading this, I'd ask you to step back for a second and appreciate the opportunity and what we have gone through over the past 2 years. It was all worth it. You are the OGs now. If you are reading this, you are on the right side of history. Big shout out to Martin with a beautiful message here. Absolutely. I'm telling you, being in PulseChain now, already you are a winner. This is why you subscribed here at the end of the day, guys, about what do you know that the others don't know. The 99% of people who are just waiting for a green candle to happen and then so that they can follow. Right, at the end of the day, that's kind of what attracts people, right? The positive feedback loop. If you get higher volume, it will attract people. And then with higher volume comes obviously volatility, but volatility is the price that you pay for holding the best assets. That's what Richard Hart says. But with that comes green candles, and then green candles again really attracts those people to come in. Okay, they have their brains are wired a little bit different. That's basically that retail FOMO. Don't fall in under that, but that's majority of people. If you think about the bell curve, majority of people fall under that. Okay, yeah, obviously the people who are saying I believe in PulseChain no matter what, and in the middle, oh, I need to wait for PulseChain for confirmations. I need to wait until it's on a centralized exchange, so I understand that. You know what I mean? Like, and then you have the people on the right who are super smart, following information, following smart money. Welcome to PulseChain, guys. Are you in the know? Are you in the know? I really love it. And here's a tweet from Space Auction saying, I got into Hex late 2019. Anyone still around from back then? Still excited and pumped as I was when I first discovered Richard Hart and Hex. The future is bright. Giving us a screenshot here of the Pirate Bay website, if you guys didn't know. And this is, by the way, this is actually true and it did happen. The Pirate Bay website, they literally changed their logo. I'm not sure for how long, but they changed it at some point and they put a Hex logo. This happened in the previous cycle. Very, very cool stuff. This kind of aligns with the whole decentralization. You know, we're attracting the right type of people, guys. It's really beautiful. And then here, even better from Dr. Hexologist, big shout out to him, says, I can't wait to start seeing things like this again. Do you notice it in the video? Do you see it? If you didn't see it, it is the Hex ad right there. Look at that. Visit Hex. Ooh, look at that. Hex.com. And then here it says 11,500 in X amount of days. This is really good. Again, people like that. Remember, the retail, you're creating that retail FOMO. It's not, oh, you're going to make a 115x in X amount of days, because of course you can't really say that. That's not financial advice, but it's really great because now you can go to people and be like, oh yeah, we did 115x in X amount of days. And they'll be like, okay, whoa, I want to get on this. You know, you can see that 129 days. So again, really exciting for the marketing. We shall see what will the Ethereum holdings, what will it go towards. Again, you know, it could be buybacks. Very simple. That's what I like about you know, Richard Hart. He's not paying no disingenuous you know, KOLs, key opinion leaders, to talk about PulseChain when they're either not holding it, or you never know, they could be selling it behind your backs as they make the videos talking about it. So I'm actually quite happy with him, you know, taking his time, and most likely going to do the same strategy in the previous bull run, where he took the what was it called, the amplifier adoption amplifier funds, and he just bought back Hex when Ethereum neared its top, or basically it topped. Like, he was very smart and he timed it really well. So that's kind of what I believe in. What he will do with this ETH sacrifice funds. You just need to put your mind in Richard Hart. When will he think the ETH will top? And I truly do believe it could be around end of this year or beginning of 2026. Like, you know, that time frame right there. You know what I mean? So again, I'm really, really excited, honestly, guys, because you know, we've seen other examples. We've seen Avalanche in the towards the end of um, the previous cycle. Like, the devs, they injected around 115 million into the ecosystem, and I participated, like, in Avalanche. There was a lot of bullish projects at that time, and there was money to be made, and that was only with 115 million. Now imagine PulseChain, but 10 times the injection. What will happen? What will happen, guys? What will happen? So exciting. So exciting. And yeah, here's another tweet. A guy tweeting me. Thank you very much for captioning. I'm sorry. Thank you very much for tagging me here. It says, why is Richard Hart selling and why are we pumping? Um, this is basically the worst news we can get. And he he captioned, or he quote tweeted this tweet from Pump Tires. Okay, and I spoke about this in the Telegram community, in the Telegram group chat. And here it says, the tweet, first of all, it says, when you see red again, understand it's not the community selling. Why would the community, who have already held for years, sell at these lows? Use your brain. Okay, now some people interpret this as it's Richard Hart selling, and I know there's other people talking about, you know, there's really PulseX rails that we're selling in the past few days, like, and bridging out as well. And you know what? Good riddance. Leave them now, or sorry, I prefer them to leave PulseChain now rather than holding on to their bags, and even though they're non-believers, and then selling at a 10x price, to where, you know, it's going to hit the charts much tougher, and then hit the liquidity much tougher as well. So I'm glad those people are leaving. There's whales, but at the same time, I just want to remind people that yeah, pump tires. This tweet in this account in front of you, that's not Richard Hart. Okay, the only Richard Hart is his Twitter, Richard Hart Win. Because if you go to Pump Tires, the website, you'll see that there's a disclaimer and it says no account. And I think even Richard Hart tweeted, he literally said, no account. I'm not affiliated with any account of Pump Tires. And I think he also said that Pump Tires website has no affiliated Twitters. So what you see right here in front of you, that's not the real Pump Tires, and it's not the real Richard Hart. Okay, and I've seen this account here show other tokens that, of course, Richard Hart is not going to spend the time to make like a, you know, a degen, I don't know, JPEG token and then tweet about it. Like, come on now. Okay, so whatever this account says, take it with a grain of salt. It's not Richard Hart. And then yes, I understand you can say that Richard Hart, see here in his description, says Richard only communicates in person. So technically, can Richard Hart also not be this account? And it's very possible, but at the same time, it's very unlikely. I think he put this here most likely because of the legal reasons with the SEC. And either way, if it's not really him, it probably could be like, I don't know, some guy who tweets for him. Like, it's still a representative of Richard Hart, unlike Pump Tire. So please be careful if it posts the charts and stuff. Don't go jumping on it and you know, trying to buy it and be like, oh my god, this is the next Richard Hart token, right? I already, like, don't really feel as bullish on any of the Pump Tire tokens, even the ones that Richard Hart launched, like, you know, Pump and Elon and Mars and stuff like that. Not to say that you can't make money with them. I'm just saying like I'm not as bullish compared to Richard Hart's first ever meme coin, which is RNC. You know what I mean? Like Richard Hart actually labeled it as a meme coin. And finally, here we're just going to talk about this Dirty Crypto. Big shout out to him. It says PulseChain, a previous protocol engineer from MakerDAO, has his username set as Hexonaut. RP MakerDAO co-founder Nikolai, are you still asleep? So yeah, this is very bullish that an engineer, part of the MakerDAO, now known as Sky, has his username as Hexonaut, guys. This is not just one singular tweet. His username has the word hex. There's no coincidences, guys. You never know if part of the real MakerDAO team has some involvement with PDAI. You just never know. Or ex or former, engineers of the MakerDAO team are now involved in PDAI. You just never know. It could be Maria, it could be Witcher Hart, it could be the the PulseChain devs, etc. It could be all of them. So the simplest thing to do is just literally sit back and let the show do its thing. You're holding, the simplest game, which is number go up. You don't need to click buttons. You don't need to log in every single day, make a trade, and be like, oh my god, should I sell now and buy it after a week? Try to time this dip, and if I buy now and I do a ratio trade, oh actually PwC went up too much. Oh, PulseX, a ratio trade. No, I literally been making it so simple that my trades per week has been going down significantly, guys, going down. Anyways, guys, listen, I'm going to end the video there. It is almost 1 a.m. I spent a little bit too much time. Well, today I had a boxing session and I went to the gym. And then I spent a little bit too much time watching, what's his name? Terry A. Davis with his programming stuff. RP to him, of course. But yeah, at least I'm not watching, I don't know, Jinxie with playing Clash Royale. I did that too. Okay, but we're gonna end the video there. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give this video a like, and if you have over $1,000 in your crypto portfolio, then you must learn about crypto operational security, know about the different attack vectors and how you can mitigate against them. It even teaches you about how you can encrypt your files using industry standard encryption algorithms like the AES 256-bit. Learn how to read Solidity contract codes so you can do your own auditing and a bunch of other information. Literally, go give this website a read. I've made this course myself, and of course, this goes to supporting me. Do remember, if you are a YouTube member, you will get this course for free. Just reach out to me. And yeah, thank you very much to all the people who have commented, giving their feedback about the course. So you don't need to hear it from me. If you click the link in the description, you can read it and then see how people found the course. It is a simple 6-video series, 1.5 hours, and this can be the difference of you avoiding, a social engineering attack, or even worse, a malware attack, and much, much more. So, guys, listen, I'm going to end the video there. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.